Before I read Isaiah 9, I just want to say I am actually pretty happy with the solution I came up with, au zo mit marakbea, which is actually au zo mit mar kaba. Because that what it says is, you go with river of dead. So it's a question, and the answer is shukran, shukran, shu, go away, kran, time, the god of death, Hades. Once we find out like the most critical things to say in a language, you can find out other things. And they're like, you already know things about the language. You just have to know like the critical components and what to include in it. And I think shukran tells me like I got that one. I'm so proud of that one. I think the English say mum to change mom because they don't want like. I think old English is like the worst form of English, like the England English. I'm talking about for trying to figure out like code, like riddles. And we're on to Isaiah 9, where we have found the Hebrew Bible massively changed it. Like, how does the Hebrew Bible mainly change it? It changes the tense. And the fact that it can just like change present tense to future tense or past tense, like it's really weird because like if you know languages well enough, you're like, that is something that Isus would have noticed. The guy read the Septuagint all the time. The guy quotes the Septuagint all the time. Like, how in the world does Isus not know that like the Greek people don't know the tense in which it was written? It's one thing to mistranslate a word. It's another thing to mistranslate the tense. So why would they remove it? It's because they're removing a prophecy. Let's read through it starting on 1, because see how they changed the numbers? 9:1 in the Septuagint is 9:2. Yeah. So, O you people who walk in darkness, see a great light. O you who live in the country and in the shadow of death, light will shine on you. Most of the people whom you have brought back in your joy will also rejoice before you, like those who rejoice at the harvest, and in the same way as those who divide plunder, because the yoke, the burden that was placed on them will be taken away, and the rod that is on their neck, for the Lord has scattered the rod of the exactors as on the day that was up upon Madiam, because with reconciliation they shall repay every garment and cloak acquired by deceit, and they will be willing to do so even if they have been burned by fire, because a child was born for us, a son also given to us, whose sovereignty was upon his shoulder. And he is named Messenger of Great Counsel, for I will bring peace upon the rulers, peace and health to him. His sovereignty is great, and his peace has no boundary upon the throne of David, and his kingdom to make it prosper and to uphold it with righteousness and with judgment from the time onward and forevermore. The zeal of the Lord Sabaoth will do these things. All right, so let's think about this. So if they have a rod that is on their neck, like that sounds like a collar on their neck. It doesn't sound like a rod, which is something that you beat someone with. That's why it's very, very confusing. So I looked up Madi because like I know Madi in Arabic because there's a neighborhood called Madi in Cairo, in Qatar. And that's like it means guided one. I knew it was like a religious leader, and I thought it had to do something with the Messiah. But like what I found is that the Mahdi language is out of Sudan. In Sudan, they speak Arabic there. And Sudan, remember, is north of the Ethiopian, so it was definitely in the Egyptian Empire. So I can't help but wonder if it's referencing like the slavery of Sudanese people. So this person's saying there will be a reckoning, on a day where all the clothes, all the nice stuff you have that you got by deceit, will be burned by you're gonna be burned by fire. No one will care about all your shit. So when something's exacting, what is it? Like it's exhausting. Like it's taking too much out of me. Like it's too much work. Like this is a very exacting project. Like this project is exacting. It's demanding, like it's just too much work. So he says, I will bring peace upon the rulers. Like that could be Islam, which Islam means peace, but the word they're using for peace is irene, which would be like a goddess of peace, which is represented by cornucopia. For me, that's Demeter, that's Ceres, which remember I have Ceres restaurants. Yeah. Irene was the sister of Dyke, which is a lesbian that's very manly in English, and eunomia, which we know pneumonia, which would be like not being able to breathe because you have something with your pneu, which is your breath. But eunomia would be something having to do with the good nomia. Real quick, so ammonia would be without ammonia, and ammonia is very hard to inhale too. I don't know what nomia means. All right, let's keep reading. The Lord sent death against Jacob, Israel, and it came on Israel, which is the name that Jacob's name was changed to, which would be the place. And all the people of Ephraim will know it, and those who sit in Samaria will, with pride and uplifted heart, saying, the bricks have fallen, but come, let us hew stones and cut down sycamores and cedars and build ourselves a tower. And God will strike those who rise up against Mount Zion, and he will scatter their enemies, Syria from the rising of the sun, and the Greeks from the setting of the sun. Those who devour Israel will with open mouth. For all this, his anger has not turned away, but his hand is still uplifted. And the people did not turn back until they were smitten, and they did not seek the Lord. For the Lord took away from Israel head and tail, great and small, in one day, the elders and those who admire persons. This is the first part, and the prophet who teaches lawless things. This one is the tail, and those who congratulate this people will lead them astray, and they lead them astray in order to devour them. Therefore, God will not rejoice over their young people, nor will he have compassion on their orphans and widows, for they are all lawless and evil, and every mouth speaks injustice. For all this, his anger has not turned away, but his hand is still uplifted. And then transgressions will burn like a fire, and like dry grass will it be consumed by fire, and it will burn in the thickets of the forest and devour everything around the hills, because of the fierce anger of the Lord. The whole land has been burned up, and the people will be completely burned as by fire. A man will not have compassion on his brother, but will turn aside to the right, because he will be hungry, and he will eat on the left, but a man will not be satisfied, even if he eats the flesh of his arm. For Manasseh will eat Ephraim's, and Ephraim Manasseh's, because together they will besiege Judas. For all this, his anger has not turned away, but his anger is still uplifted. The first thing I'll point out is, like, you see how 21 says Manasseh devoured Ephraim, and Ephraim Manasseh, and together they were against Judah. That's past tense. So, like, he's telling a story. This happened before. But, like, I'm telling you, like, you can tell the difference between past tense and future tense. Like, that is, like, one of the things you make clear in a language. Let's see what the other one says. For Manasseh will eat Ephraim's, and Ephraim Manasseh's, because together they will besiege Judas. Like, they'll besiege, like, these people, like they're going to attack them. Besiege is to, like, go out, like you'd be like to a siege warfare, like to attack, and like attack a city especially. So we're back in the Septuagint, and we're looking at 8:7, where it says, the Lord sent death against Jacob, and it came on Israel, and all the people of Ephraim will know it. Who are the people from Ephraim? Like, I feel like it has to do with Ephesus, probably, and like Turkey, like especially that side of Turkey at the time, like near Constantinople. Remember, that's Byzantium. So instead of the Lord sent death against Jacob, it says the Lord sent a word against Jacob, and it fell on Israel, and all the people knew it, Ephraim and the inhabitants of Samaria. But in pride and arrogance of heart, they said, the bricks have fallen. So, like, clearly, like, it's changing it, like, that much. So 16 here says, those who congratulate this people will lead them astray, and they lead them astray in order to devour them. Therefore, God will not rejoice over the young people, blah, blah, blah. Let's go see what the other one says. For those who led this people led them astray, and those who were led by them were left in confusion. That is why the Lord did not have pity on their young people. So, like, all I'm saying is, like, you can't, like, convince Jesus that, like, he didn't know how to read Greek. No, Jesus just didn't know how to read Greek, probably.